Hey everybody, my name is Ashley. Welcome back into my kitchen. Today we are going to look at a food pickup that I got from our local co-op. This is all food that I placed a special order for through our food co-op. They had to put a special order in through these companies to get us these products. Some of the things that I purchased were on sale, some were not on sale, but no matter what, we still get a 15% discount by placing a special order. If a product is on sale, we get the sale price, but if it's not on sale, we get the 15% off. My last order was an Azure Standard Haul, and I looked at some smaller quantities of things. I ran all the numbers, I looked at the things in our local co-op, and I compared them, and I found that on the whole, our local food co-op actually has better prices on the things that we normally keep around. And they also have things that we can't get through Azure Standard. Azure Standard definitely has things that we can't get at our local food co-op, but there's usually something that's a really close replacement. And so I think after my last haul and testing out those smaller quantities of certain things and doing the comparison, I think we're going to probably skip Azure Standard for a while. Maybe once in a great while we'll place a special order through them. I really like their jars and some storage containers that I'll show you in just a few minutes. But in general, I feel like the convenience, our co-op is within a mile of our house. We get discounts if we buy in these big quantities. And so I think this is just a really good fit for us. So let's go through really quick and take a look at what we've got. Okay, we will start here at the back. On the bottom, I have a 50-pound bag of thick rolled oats. I thought I was actually ordering a 25-pound bag, but this is what came. I have ordered the regular rolled oats, not thick, and it's in 25-pound bags. So I wonder if maybe this product is just offered in a different quantity. Some of these things come in different size bags, so you need to check if you're unsure before placing an order like this. The next thing I got was a 25-pound bag of flour. If you buy in bulk, or just if you don't even buy in bulk, I'm really interested. Do you buy organic flour or do you buy non-organic flour? I was on the fence about what to get. The non-organic flour is about 89 cents a pound. That's not including the special order discount, but this was quite a bit pricier. The one thing about organic flour is they don't add the extra vitamins back to the flour after being processed, because this is a white all-purpose flour. It's just been something that I've been curious about. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but obviously when they make like a white flour, they strip away all those nutrients and then they add them back in to conventional white all-purpose flour. But if it's organic, that does not usually have any of those vitamins added back in. So yeah, we're gonna give this one a try. Next time I might order the non-organic flour, but here we have it. This is one reason why you want to make sure you get your bulk food products out of these paper bags as soon as possible. My husband thinks that this was something that he did. He damaged this. I don't remember flour coming out when we first got this at home, but my husband thinks that he may have damaged this. And so we'll just put a piece of tape over this really quick, but in general, you want to make sure that you don't store in these paper bags. These paper bags are incredibly environmentally friendly, which is great because it's just paper, but you do need to watch out for tears. Moisture is another big one, because this would obviously spoil a tremendous amount if these got wet. Okay, the next thing is organic brown rice. This is something that I talked about in my small Azure haul. We tried some brown rice from Azure, and it's great. However, the price difference isn't that big, especially with the special order discount that we get on this. This was important to me to be making sure that I had the exact same brand. Our co-op sells the pre-packaged Lundberg rices, but this is also the brand that they fill their bulk canisters with, which means that this is the product that we can get on our order. So I jumped in big on this. This was definitely the priciest item. I think it was over $140 for these 2 bags of brown rice, but this is a total of 50 pounds. That is an enormous amount that is going to last us a long time. We also have some brown rice from the Azure order, and we also have some white rice, which we talked about in the Azure order, and we already had some on hand. So it's not the only rice we have, but this is going to be good and last us a good amount of time. Okay, let's move on to the next items, which is canned beans. By far, buying dried beans and cooking them on your own is by far the most economical. In fact, beans are incredibly cheap if prepared in that way. However, and I do have some dried beans in our basement. However, I don't usually like to cook those. I highly prefer specifically this brand of canned beans. Number one, it's organic and, you know, it's non-BPA can lining and things like that. But also they process their beans differently than a lot of other companies. These beans are actually pressure canned prior to being put in these cans, which helps to break down some of the nutrients in beans that can inhibit absorption of the nutrients that you want to get out of the beans, specifically things like phytic acid. And these beans also processed in this way, I feel like are much more gentle on my digestive system. Some beans just make my stomach hurt and things like that, but these are so nice and gentle. So I got 2 cases of organic black beans and 1 case of organic garbanzo beans. So we did some black bean burgers in my last freezer video. Super delicious. Only takes, I think we only used 1 can and I made 9 burgers, which is a lot. And we also use brown rice. So these 2 things together make those burgers fantastic meal. Kids absolutely love those burgers, which is exciting as well. And these can obviously be put in so many dishes. Added to things, soups, beans can be so incredibly versatile. These are larger cans. I realize that. However, we do have a bigger family. I haven't gotten any of the smaller cans. These were on sale. All of these canned beans were on sale. So I think they were $3. I think they were $3 per can. And if you think about the fact that we can use 1 can plus, you know, 1 cup of brown rice and some seasonings to make 9 black bean burgers for our family, that is incredibly low cost food that is highly nutritious. As far as these garbanzo beans go, we are in love with this chickpea salad. It's sort of like a chicken salad, but made with chickpeas instead. It's we crush these up. We kind of do like a rough crush of these and add in some red pepper, parsley, olive oil, maybe a little bit of mayonnaise, and just a touch of vinegar, some salt. And I think that's primarily it. Maybe some onion and garlic powder, especially if it's put on a sourdough bread, lightly toasted. It is out of this world. My husband actually just started putting some of that pickled coleslaw, some of that canned coleslaw that we made a few weeks ago on it. And he just said it just took it to the top. If you have fresh tomatoes from your garden, that is phenomenal on that sandwich as well. Okay, moving on. We eat a ton of peanut butter in our family. So when I saw that this was on sale, I ordered it. I actually ordered a couple cases, but I just have the 1 right here. We love the creamy, dark roasted Santa Cruz peanut butter. It's the natural one that you stir. We don't mind stirring it. It is worth every bit of the flavor. And then the last item that I got was coffee. This is something that we have started purchasing in these 5-pound bags because it is economical. We try to eat as much organically as possible, and coffee is one of those products that can have a tremendous amount of pesticides on if it's not organic. I'm sure the organic stuff has some as well. Organic doesn't necessarily mean 0 pesticides. It means that any pesticides used are on an approved list. An organic stamp to me doesn't necessarily mean that the food is 100% pure and has had nothing on it and things like that. But we try to eat that way as much as we can and reduce our exposure to as many of those things as much as we can. So, but coffee is one of those highly contaminated things. So we get organic, and we've been getting the Equal Exchange Mind Body Soul roast, which is just so good. But we have recently fallen in love with this Ethiopian roast. So that's what I got. This is also whole bean coffee. So we keep it in these half-gallon jars until we are ready to use it. And if they stay really fresh, listen to this. Oh, that was very not exciting. Normally it makes that like from all of the buildup of the, I don't know, gases and things in there. It usually makes a nice pop sound because it stays so airtight and fresh in those half-gallon jars. So once I take our coffee out of the bag, I just transfer it in, and it usually fits in a little over 3 half-gallon jars. But I try not to put it in too big of a jar so that there's the least amount of air touching as possible as we're consuming it. All of these canned goods are just going to go downstairs. I have some metal shelves that are very durable and can handle a ton of weight, so they'll just go sit on the shelf until we're ready to bring them up. I'll bring up maybe a can or two at a time. If I'm using a can for a recipe, I'll maybe bring up another extra one to put in our pantry. As far as peanut butter goes, we keep anywhere between, I don't know, 1 and 6 containers up here at a time. This brown rice is gonna go straight into the bakery buckets that I've talked about. 1 25-pound bag should fit in 1 bucket. So this will take 2 buckets to take care of the rice. The flour, I will put in another one. It's another 20, right around that 25-pound size, fits in one of those buckets. Oats are a little bulkier for their weight. So this is actually going to fit in probably 3 of those buckets. So total here, I need 6 buckets to store this properly. And then my shelves and my jars. And that's it. What I do with the things that I have in bulk is I keep them upstairs, usually in half-gallon or gallon jars. Canning jars work great too. That's what I used prior to getting these. These are ones that I got from Azure Standard, and so far I have 12 of each size. So if I need more, that's where I'll be going for these. But I'll just transfer a bunch up. This whole gallon, which is great. The half-gallon jars for oats was just not enough. I use pretty much a gallon of oats just for our granola. And then we eat it fresh as well. So I like to have more than a gallon up here, which I'll transfer out of those buckets. Things that I use in slightly smaller quantities: sunflower seeds, walnuts, barley, grains that I don't use quite as frequently. The half-gallon one works much better. All you have to do is just kind of think of how quickly you go through something. And if you go through it quicker, have it in a bigger jar. If you go through it a little slower, having it in a smaller jar just reduces the amount of air that's always going to be exposed to that food, keeping it as fresh as possible, and making sure that you have rubber gaskets on as many lids as you can. These peanut butter jars are fantastic to reuse because they have the gasket on the inside, as do the Smucker's brand, which we also really love to reuse for all these other items. I used to use a lot of canning jars for all of my things in my cabinets, but I've tried to move away from that, largely because I like to keep my canning jar stock separately, just so that those jars stay in better shape for when I actually need to can with them. And when I'm using them for everyday things, it can be a little trickier and they just go through more wear and tear. And then when I go to wash them, they easily get mixed up. So that's what I have for today's bulk food haul. This food will last us a really long time. I feel like I have been doing a lot of bulk food buying lately. It's a combination of our shelves just being a little bit lower on food, especially the things that we use frequently. And then also trying to get some bigger quantities of things that we haven't necessarily purchased in big quantity in the past. I'll try to do quick videos when I get food in bulk so that you can kind of see the types of things that we buy, and I'll kind of explain why, if anything is sort of out of the ordinary or different, or talk about frequent uses like these black beans and those burgers, these garbanzo beans and things like that. But if you'd like to see more food hauls as they come in, please subscribe and we will see you soon.